Today, after the nation's greatest morning, the party members, service personnel of the People's Army, and the entire people entrust their destiny entirely to respected Kim Jong-un and are waging a vigorous struggle to implement the instructions of the great Kim Jong-il in firm unity around the party center. But the dangerous anti-party counter-revolutionary factionalist incident recently took place that those chance elements and heterogeneous elements entrenched within the party in an attempt to emasculate the monolithic leadership of the party expanded their force with factionalist movements and dared to challenge the party. Concerning it, the political bureau of the Party Central Committee convened the enlarged meeting and discussed the issue about the anti-party counter-revolutionary factionalist acts of Jang Song Thaek. At the meeting, his anti-party counter-revolutionary factionalist acts and their harmfulness and reactionary nature were fully exposed. Jang Song Thaek and his faction committed anti-party counter-revolutionary factionalist acts of gnawing at the unity and cohesion of the party and hindering the establishment of the party's monolithic system of leadership, and such anti-state, anti-public crimes of doing tremendous harm to the struggle for the building of a prosperous nation and the improvement of the people's living. Jang Song Thaek pretended to support the party and the leader in front, but in the back was engaged in factionalist acts of dreaming different dreams in the same bed and engaging in double dealing. He did a treacherous act of ignoring and hindering in every way the work to hold the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in high esteem forever. Jang Song Thaek made vicious efforts to form a faction within the party, creating illusion about himself and drawing those with ambiguous faith and flatterers. Jang Song Thaek and his followers intentionally laid down on and distorted implementation of the party's line and policy, an organized will of the party, and openly reversed the policy of the party, and furthermore did not hesitate to do the counter-revolutionary act of disobeying the order of the Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army. Jang Song Thaek and his faction weakened the party's leadership over the judicial, prosecution, and people's security organs, and thus did tremendous harm to the defense of the system, defense of the policy, and defense of the people. Jang Song Thaek, violating the principle of the cabinet-centered system, the cabinet-responsible system put forward by the party, did tremendous harm to the economic work of the country and the improvement of the people's living, and steeped in capitalist way of life, perpetrated irregularities and corruption, and led a dissipated and degenerative life. The ungrateful criminal acts committed by Jang Song Thaek and his faction fewer than 3 years after the demise of the great leader Kim Jong-il, eternal general secretary of the party, trigger off a burning indignation of the party members, service personnel of the People's Army, and people. Speeches were made at the enlarged meeting of the political bureau. The speakers unanimously and strongly criticized the anti-party counter-revolutionary factionalist acts of Jang Song Thaek and his faction, and voiced their firm resolve to remain true to the idea and leadership of respected Kim Jong-un, and resolutely defend the Party Central Committee politically and ideologically, and at the risk of their lives. The meeting adopted a decision of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee on releasing Jang Song Thaek from all duties, depriving him of all titles, and expelling him from the party. With the detection and expulsion of Jang Song Thaek and his faction, our party and revolutionary ranks have become purer, our single-minded unity 100-fold firmer, and the revolutionary cause of Juche can advance with greater vigor along the road of victory. Nobody on earth can stand in the way of our party, army, and people powerfully advancing towards the final victory in single-minded unity around respected Kim Jong-un under the great banner of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism, the report said.
North Koreans are outraged at the behavior of leader Kim Jong-un's uncle and advisor Jang Song Thaek, who's been executed. Jang had been considered the second most powerful man in the north. State media said he was immediately executed after being found guilty of treason for attempting to overthrow the state. In Pyongyang, locals said he deserved to be executed for challenging the country's leadership. He's like an enemy who dares to be crazy enough to take over power from our party and our leader. And look how much harm he did to the people's lives. He got what he deserved.
길을 갔습니다. 1심 단결에
For this group of traitors who are going to destroy our single-hearted unity, execution is too lenient.
갈기갈기 찢어서
They should be torn up and thrown in the rubbish bin of history.
된다고 생각합니다.
South Korea has held a ministerial meeting to review developments with its northern neighbour. The United States said it was consulting with allies in the region, and Japan said the move could herald a period of radical upheaval.
He held very senior positions, both military positions and party positions. He was the guy who was given the responsibility of overseeing the transition to power from the father to the son. So really a very key role at the heart of North Korean politics, which makes what has happened the last few days so striking. Those pictures you might have seen on our coverage of him being hauled from a party meeting by armed guards, literally holding him up under his arms and dragging him out. It's the kind of thing that you just don't see in North Korea. And the fact that the country is publicizing his fall from grace like this is really very striking. Here again, we're learning about the military tribunal that took place on Thursday, December the 12th, that his crimes were again listed, again in a bit more detail. We're being told that he was appointed to responsible posts, but abused that responsibility, formed a faction, attempted to overthrow the state, and was guilty of having political ambitions of his own. And then we're told he was executed straight after that tribunal, during which he admitted to those crimes.
Now, a close aide of North Korea's #2 National Defense Commission Vice Chairman Jang Song Thaek has reportedly fled to China and is asking for asylum in South Korea. Media outlets reported Friday, citing a well-informed source, that the man escaped to China 2 months ago and is currently living under the protection of the Chinese government. The reports follow the National Intelligence Agency's revelation on Tuesday that it believed Chang had been removed from power. The reports say that the North Korean's entry to Seoul will likely be difficult, as the Chinese government is not allowing him to leave that country. Seoul's Unification Ministry spokesman Keene said the government has yet to confirm those reports.
Start with the major change in North Korea's leadership as experts continue to digest the news that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's uncle, Jang Song Thaek, a key figure in North Korea, has been purged. Attention is shifting to what happens next.
Experts say Chang's removal, if confirmed, will have a huge impact on North Korea's policy goals as well as inter-Korean relations. Our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee starts us off.
If reports of Jang Song Thaek's ousting are confirmed, experts say the removal implies a major shift in the North Korean leadership. On Tuesday, Seoul's National Intelligence Service said Chang had been purged and 2 of his close confidants executed. As Kim's uncle, Jang practically served as the guardian of the young and inexperienced dictator and was known as the power behind the throne. Also, as a vice chairman, Chang had full control over the National Defense